Welcome to Brewcast. What we have for today is there was a protest, a march in Dearborn, Michigan on the 18th, and it went from, let me pull this up real quick. It went from the intersection of Schaefer and Michigan Avenue in the top right down to the Dearborn City Hall in the bottom left. Let me get a better image here for you. Okay, so basically 1 and 4. So it started at 1 and went to 4. And what I have is footage that I took myself, pictures that I took myself. We're going to go through them. I'm going to give you my honest firsthand opinion of instances. And I'm Brewer. I'd like you to go ahead and just feel free to ask questions just of me as I go through it. I just want to present a firsthand take, because it's easy to say, oh, well, someone else said this, someone else thought this. Well, I have slightly different opinions on some of the little individual scenarios that popped up throughout it. But I think there's a lot of conversation that can be had. And even though there's apparently another demonstration march going on with the same person, and we'll get into all of the people involved, and I'll be as honest and upfront as possible. And then after we go through the footage that I have and breaking that down, I'm going to cover some of the stuff that we see on social media with some of the people that are in the clips. The majority of the clips, at least what we have on the map here, is all of the footage that I think that is kind of pieced together is going to be in one of these areas, or approximately in one of these areas. Just so we can kind of track where things were moving, because somewhere in like the 2 section, the group that was going forward split from people in the back, and there was much less people that originally walked down to number 4, versus like maybe how many kind of came in later once everyone was at City Hall. So I drove to this location just because it was somewhere reasonable to get to, just to get this firsthand experience. And I got there roughly around, I think, 3 p.m. The march was supposed to start at 4. The post that you sent me last week, Brewer, was for the Anthony for governor or something, a guy running for governor, and this was kind of his event. There is a tour bus that had his name on it. We'll get into all that. I think that's just where we'll start, and then I just want to start walking through this. Do you have any questions to start?
Just looking forward to seeing everything you have, and I guess to let everyone else know, I have very little, if practically none, any foresight, or he didn't share much anything with me. This was all kind of meant to kind of just show here, so I can ask questions as we go through, as he displays everything here. So
Right.
I don't have much foresight on this, so outside of what I saw on Twitter and whatnot. So let's go.
Sweet. Yeah, I want to be as authentic with the situation as possible, because I feel this is a situation that I don't think that the outcome has been decided. There are minds that are still able to be changed, and perspectives able to be learned, digested. So yeah, I may reference back to this particular image. So this was across the street, like counter corner across the street, approximately like 3 p.m. And this is primarily the I guess this was the agitator crowd, the pro Palestinian crowd. They were saying, have the Palestinian flag there. They had the river to the sea. So there were some of the mainstream political influencers. I guess maybe not mainstream yet, but there were political influencers that were going over there. I know one of them was pepper sprayed. Later came to learn that person's name was Cam Higby. I'll be addressing some of that stuff in a little bit. Um, and in this message, it says, "Stop Trump's white racist program of the ethnic cleansing of America." And it's BAMN.com. BAMN is an organization that's, can't remember exactly what they're for, but it's kind of what you expect. It's like a leftist organization. It's the simplest way to explain it right now without getting off track. As far as like the mindset, but I mean, it's the same people. Like, it looks like it would be another coordinated, organized, group. I don't think the majority of them were violent as far as like that particular group, but there were more than two groups of people at this event. There was more than just one side versus the other. So we cannot look at this event in any context of less than two groups of people there, because there were agitators on both sides. There were people with good intentions. There were people that were uninformed on both sides. And there were people just frustrated. This is across the street. Vehicle blocking. And then that wooden cross, that came into play later as far as like some of the, I guess, the imagery and the setup they had on the corner. And they would be opposite street of this stuff. And here's where, right here is, what's his name? Nick Shirley. This girl in the red jacket was like some British new media person, I think. But you had tons and tons of people. This guy, this black guy right here, he was just in a really nice suit. He was with kind of the Jake Lang, I guess, group, or the influencer group there, people that were, I guess, engaging with the other side. But I think he actually got spit on later. I don't remember if I kept that video around or not.
Remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Actually, coming through a couple of different posts. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So after I kind of just got a quick survey of the, what was going on, I wanted to, I tried to just kind of dip around the different corners, because I mean, I was just completely generic. I'm just a normal guy, right? I wanted to go see for myself. So I just didn't get aggressive with anybody. Most of it seemed like, what's the best way to put it? Actually, let me close those out real quick. Most of it seemed like theater.
That was going to be one of my primary questions for you, actually, is because I often see everything in these kind of protests. You only see like very, very minute, like minimal amount of actual activities that are going on. They're always cherry picked. So I was always curious to see exactly how your perspective, you actually being there and seeing everything firsthand versus all the, what's the word? Inflation of the rhetoric that is actually put on X. So I was kind of wanting to compare and contrast what you saw versus what you see on X. So,
Well, I mean, it's, yeah, I think some of the conversations that we can get into around some of this will definitely have that, that element. We did make this lower again.
Were you actually approached by anyone from any of these? Did anyone come up to you, or do you kind of just like try to be in the background as much as possible?
Oh, I was just background. I wasn't directly engaging because I didn't want to influence the situation.
Okay.
I wanted,
but nobody came up to you to say anything or throw anything or accuse you of anything?
No, not like that. Someone did come up to like ask me certain questions, but it was information that I didn't have, so I just shrugged.
Gotcha. So you were as minimal as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, I basically didn't exist. Like there's videos like that other people have, like people with like like very large followings that have posted. I'm in those clips, but like no one will ever know. I mean,
Yeah.
but like, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter, but I'm telling you that this is my account from probably within anywhere 10 to 30 feet of most of these things at any given time.
Okay. Yeah, understood.
Um, but yeah, you were right with kind of how you started off saying it was, how did you put it? It looks,
Inflated.
yeah, because like I was there for about 3 hours, right? So the march started at 4. It took about maybe an hour to walk down to the city hall, and then the city hall just kind of was just people were walking in a circle chasing Jake Lang. I mean, we'll see videos of that. It's like it was just one guy literally being followed by people because he upset them or said something hurt them. Um, so apparently there was. I did not see the attempted burning of a Quran. I do have my own footage of bacon being slapped on the Quran, or at least bacon wrapped in a package slapped on the Quran. So the imagery is still there. But this was the first video. We'll just start walking through some of this. Is that big enough for you, Brewer?
Yeah,
Right
I'm fine.
now? Okay. Saying it'll help me keep track of where I am. So yeah, this is whenever I first didn't recognize who that was, and I was like, I've seen that face before, but I can't remember where.
And just to be clear, this is what you took.
This is what I took. This is my own footage. This is from
Okay.
me. I mean, you can tell because it's like not very good quality, and like I'm not in it, so
Good enough for what we're doing here.
it's the best.
Okay.
So then after,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
so he was actually going over there and actively engaging with those he was walking in front of.
Yeah, he I his name is Nick Shirley apparently. Never really, I mean, I never met him before, but I went up to him. I was like, "Hey, like you look familiar. What's going on, dude?" Um, seems like a very, I guess, honest. He doesn't seem like a very aggressive person. So it's like he seems like he does well in those events because he doesn't really come off as like he's trying to achieve some kind of goal. He was actually engaging people very, very honestly. And I think that you can actually see that with some of the interviews that he managed to get on his own channel. Um, one of which we kind of had a little bit overlap. I caught the end of an altercation that almost happened. But then he ended up getting a footage with like a very good interview with the guy. Just a couple questions. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I think I do cover that one. But this is from the opposite side of the street of the protesters. And then this is where we can see the Anthony Hudson for governor's the bus. I think that some of the people involved in I guess some of the theatrics of it, because I mean, let's be honest, like normal people aren't going to go out there and like do this. A bunch of this is theatrics. It's entertainment. It's drama. It's to create some kind of buzz. It's to annoy or piss people off.
And galvanize their base. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's to get people to attach to the simplest message, not the entire message, right? Because there's multiple examples of truth that you can pull from this whole event. This was right after the alleged burning of the Quran. So, and I say alleged because I didn't see it, and I'm not going to make any claim that I did not particularly see, at least to the best of my ability. The police were like 3 wide. They were literally parked around the corner. As soon as it went off, they pulled onto the main street. And this place was covered with cops. And I mean covered, especially after this. But that's how the police got here. So over on the catty corner between the protesters and the side of the street that you are looking at now, that's where there was kind of the setup of the banner and the wooden cross, and where they were like doing the show. All right, so yeah, it was right here in the intersection where this group of guys were. You can see the wooden cross here on the right.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Actually, I can probably do this. That's probably ooh, that's much better. You see the wooden cross over here. But they were blocking traffic. People were getting pissed off. But this was not that many people. Maybe 100, 200 people tops. And it got probably half or a quarter of that once you got down to the mayor's office. But I mean,
So
look, yeah.
real quick, is only about 200 people that were participating in the original protest, the main protest.
I'm including all the people with cameras.
So it was not that big.
No,
in general.
it definitely wasn't that big. I mean, you had the people across the street who were definitely all part of a group, like the protesters, like they were just there, and their goal was to like obscure the banner and the message of the other side. I mean, I have stuff of that later, but
Okay.
essentially, almost what you see on camera right now is the extent of the people there. I
Interesting.
mean, not entirely, but I mean, really. So, I mean, it definitely did not carry an air of threat or danger. It definitely was, shenanigans and people being stupid. But there were, I think that the thing that stood out to me the most were probably some of the younger men, particularly like people standing in like the groups. And I mean, they were young Muslim kids, right?
So okay, the people with the cross, like the kid in the blue hoodie with the pink whatever that is on the back, the graphic,
Mm-hmm.
that was a Muslim.
I'm not saying that for sure, that person exactly, because I can't see the face. I'm saying, but there were groups of like young teenagers or young males that were like, they looked like just kids wanting to cause trouble. They looked like boys being boys, right?
Ah, okay, I understand now.
So
I
it
see what
was
you're saying.
like, oh, this is exciting. I can get some kind of attention. There was a lot of like posturing and like, I guess, attention or people trying to attention grab. And that's what I think a lot of the theatrics kind of felt like to me.
So they were exploiting the situation in order to possibly create a name for themselves, so they could, I mean, speculation here, but catapult some kind of online presence or something is kind of how I'm interpreting that.
Well, there's two sides to that. One, yes, for the social media creators, but then the other one was like, it looked like people running information between places, or
What do you mean by?
people
Hmm.
like leaving the group and then like coming back. Just in like, it was very strange just watching the people move in those particular groups. And I'm
So
not
you're saying
making any.
all groups were doing that?
No, not all groups. Just the particular ones that looked like they were potentially up to trouble. But they were younger kids. They were like probably less than 20. They were younger kids. So
It looks like they were running information.
I'm trying to give them some grace, because
Okay.
they could have just been say, hey, maybe I'm just gonna go call my buddy and say, hey, come over here. There's like this stuff popping off. There's this guy that just tried to burn the Quran. Now he's slapping bacon on it, right? So I mean, it could be just stuff like that.
Okay.
But I mean, it looked funny watching just people move through this entire thing, because you had the corner here where they're doing their little thing, right? They had the protesters across the street, and then earlier in the video, if you are like facing this direction, but you go to the left of the camera, and then like behind you, there's like it's like a library or something where it had like some stone steps. People also went there to like get a couple of I guess shots in front of the steps, or another stage or another backdrop for their their content, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. It's also separated from the the main thing there. So that would be a good place to actually conduct interviews and stuff like that. Still well within the vicinity, still get the noise and the ambiance, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But still, and then not get directly interrupted, or at least see something coming that could possibly interrupt it. So that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm. So right here you have the police officer. That's Jake Lang. Apparently he's a J6er, but he was the one that he's one of he's one of the main people of this event, and I think he's also one of the main people at I think the march that's happening today somewhere else in Michigan, I guess. I'm not sure.
yeah, the police officer there
Mm-hmm.
in the hoodie, or in the beanie, excuse me. That is one of the, if I correct on this, the other guy who I guess he was doing the slapping at the bacon on the Quran. Um, that was spoke about that. Or was it Jake that spoke about it? Anyways, one of them spoke about how there was a police officer basically told him to go file a report instead of go, actually arrest the guy that assaulted him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Um,
I think that's a different
so
cop. I think I know what you're
I mean,
referencing
it
though.
could be. It looks the same. So
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, it could not be the same guy, but that looks like him.
I had that link. I might have taken it out. We might have that though.
Okay.
That's probably in like the second half once we get past like the video review of this stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Jake Lang, and then there's other people that you could see in this. There's that guy that I was talking about that I think got spit on later. I referenced him earlier.
I recognize him from somewhere. I don't know where though.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they had the faces, and I mean they were just the part.
Kind of looks like a bodyguard.
Okay, so there's that.
The way he was putting his hand on his back and all that kind of thing was like trying to direct him a bit more. So it could be some kind of manager slash bodyguard or something along those lines. This is just the
No,
what it kind of looks
he
like.
seemed very performer like someone that you would expect
Ah,
to be in front of the
okay,
camera.
okay.
I'm not going to
Well,
say
he's dressed the part,
yeah,
but
I mean that'd have been a really good convincing disguise for a bodyguard. No, I think that he's a content creator of some side. I just don't know who he is yet.
okay.
This was that girl in red, and this was just me kind of getting a general scope of the event, because like you could see like this is behind where we were just facing to the right. There's not a whole lot of people there. I didn't know who she was, but I was like, okay, well, she's clearly making content. But like, look at how many like camera content creator. Everyone has cameras. Everyone's just there to film this. Everyone's watching this show of like maybe a dozen, 2 dozen people.
That's interesting. There's one guy obviously just talk. Actually, I think I've seen that guy's video.
Him?
The guy right there in the orange hoodie, because he looks familiar.
Did you say orange?
If I did, I meant to say blue.
Okay.
Sorry. So the
Yeah.
complement color. Um, Anyways, sorry. Go ahead. There's that cop. It does look like the same guy. No, that is a different guy. How do I say this? It's like for all the protesters that are across the street over there, do look like they have their professionally made signs and banners and stuff like that, in addition to some hand drawn ones. So typically, when I've been trying to keep an eye on any kind of protests that happen, particularly on the left hand side, is the quality of their signs, and the signs they're showing, again, like I said, is a mix of the two. So that's interesting. Did you see like group of them all show up together, or did
No,
you happen to see that at all? Okay.
no. I didn't get there early enough to track anything on that specific
Okay.
detail. There was too much.
Okay.
Um, but it didn't look like the Muslim people or the people that were there for the religious aspect or the trouble aspect really had anything to do with the what appeared to be the paid protesters or the Palestinian protesters. Um, that's maybe not the best way to put it, but they didn't. It seemed like they understood they were going in the same direction, but they weren't really part of each other.
So you think the people who were doing the assaulting, that has been spread around on Matthew Lane and whatnot, was possibly locals, or do you think they were from outside, or do you have any speculation on that?
I think that if you're dealing with the Muslim population in this area, given what I saw, as long as I'm assuming the majority of them were locals,
Okay.
just because I know people in that area and I have friends in that area, some of which are Muslims, and they're really good people. Um, what was your question?
No, that was it. You answered it. You're good.
Hmm. All right, so let's hop over to this one. So yeah, actually 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, I need to get into. We'll come back to these. I need to switch over to the media player real quick. And this is just because I'm a ding dong. So that was pretty much all that happened at the, I guess, the crossroads section. And then like 4 o'clock happened. The van rolled out. Everyone just started walking down towards their march down City Hall. Um, I walked with the group the majority of the way, so the rest of this footage is going to be progressing through that march. There's actually one more here that I need to get. It's 1, 2. Did the
Interesting.
audio save? Yeah. So this was right before. Like this was like right after I think the Quran bacon slapping event. Where did some of that go? I think mine already got messed up. That's okay. But yeah, you can see here the van moved out or the bus moved out, and then the billboard sign came in, and I think that was for the the agitating protesters.
What are you talking about? You have the girl with the flag on top of the car.
Oh yeah, that was it's the billboard sign truck. I think this was
Oh,
for
okay.
I think that was for the agitators. I'll just reference some of the agitators. I don't. I guess that's just kind of true, but I mean, both sides were agitating on some level, so it's really hard to just say it's one way. To be fair with the situation, I think.
You
But
might
yeah,
say protesters versus pro-Palestine protesters, just as a way to label them
yeah. I mean,
for the discussion.
yeah. I just need to be able to reference them, and it's not meant to be insulting. I'm just trying to be genuine here. So I would rather focus on you know unintentionally saying the wrong thing.
Yep,
But
understood.
yeah.
That's not going to help the situation.
No, which side do you think she was on?
Um, well, the fact you're saying your mother or your brother or your mother and dad were brother and sister, that kind of insinuates they were on the protester side, the anti-Muslim side. That's what I would assume, but
Why
I'm
was
not
she
sure.
saying it to Canadians though?
Wait, Canadians?
She called them honkies. Wait, wait, what's a honky? Hold on. What's a honky?
I'm for white person. predominantly used in the United States.
Oh, so yeah, she's for the pro-Palestinian side then, or the I guess pro-Muslim side. We'll say pro-Palestinian side because I think the pro-Muslim side is different from the pro-Palestinian side.
I
Like
would agree with
again,
that.
there's many groups of people here saying it's just one side versus the other is not fair.
Yeah, I didn't hear the term honky used, but then again, my hearing isn't that the greatest with a lot of background noise that was there. So,
yeah.
but if she was for the, so she was on the pro-Palestinian protest. Okay, why would she, that's interesting. Okay,
So now we're starting to get over to somewhere along the march. These are going to be between 2 and 3. I'm going to try. I think I have them close to an order. If I have the order messed up, I'm sorry. But they should be in order 2 to 3 if I follow the timelines. I think so. We'll just see. We'll just see.
Hey, it's not about that, but when you smell.
Is that too loud?
I have to, let me see. I'm actually not hearing it. I have to go to the browser that I have our thing up and watch it that way or listen to it that way. So I'm not hearing it come through my side, but that's fine. It's fine. So go ahead and try it again.
So
Yeah, it's fine.
this guy's mad about slapping bacon on the Quran. I know that I have a video of that somewhere. It was referenced from a higher point. Maybe I took it out. I can find that if I need to. But this guy, he was on the side street. This guy actually did an interview with Nick Shirley in his truck after this. This guy in blue.
Oh, yeah.
This guy in blue. This is where I think that it became evident for kind of both sides of, hey, there's people here that are being agitators. There are, shitty people on both sides trying to cause problems. The guy in blue was like, hey, like that dude that was doing that isn't with us. And I'm thinking that he was talking about the Jake Shirley, Jake Lang. But this guy was on the side street and he was yelling at the people marching. He swerved up into the parking lot from the back left. And just pulled in, got out of his car, and was going after that guy. And then everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, back up."
You guys are freaking out. Thank you. Hey, tell him to get out here and calm the fuck down.
I want you to notice something. I want you to notice something about this. Look at his hat.
Go back. Oh, the don't tread on me?
Yeah. So what people don't understand about Dearborn specifically is there's a lot of really good Muslim people, and it's very, very easy to paint a bad picture. And I mean, let's be fair, some of the perceptions that are created are completely justified because of the things that they've done. But that works for everybody. But I guess this is where trying to say, hey, we need to have this conversation about, the religion, its influence on the culture in the country. I don't know. Maybe I don't really feel okay with the approach that I guess the theatrics is trying to do. But I guess if you don't do it that way, how do you get attention for people to even pick it up and move with it? Right? Because if people are mad enough to go out on the street and really protest, they're mad enough to actually go do something about it.
To some extent, yeah, I agree with that. That theatrics is definitely something that I've not been very keen on from both sides. But I think you're right. I think they're both sides are trying to blow, what's happening out of proportion. And it actually does cause influence, including even to myself, because a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing with the, I mean, not just in Dearborn, but even in New York and other places around the country, that are becoming or are already predominantly Muslim. You just see a lot of stuff come out about it, and like you actually see people who are Muslim talking about how they're going to have, uh, Islam in every house. It's going to enter every house, type of thing. So it's almost like they're forcing or wanting to force their religion on people, which is the one thing that I am absolutely against. Because I mean, come to the country, practice your religion, do it in what is would be appropriate within the customs of this country, and I have no problem with you. But if you begin to try to force things, be violent in your manner, whether it's Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, whatever, I will adamantly fight against you for it. So as long as they're civil and are willing to sit down and actually have a conversation and actually be a part of the community, I have no problem. But it is actually being portrayed significantly by those who are anti-Muslim that they are picking and choosing the specific videos and content in order to push the narrative, just like the other side does. Everyone does it, and that's one reason why I don't necessarily believe everything I see when it comes across my screen. But I am obviously more amped to believe what you're saying because you were there and you have of course this video proof, and it's definitely shifting perspective slightly on this. So
Well,
it's in. Yeah.
like I said, there's many groups,
Mhm.
right? Like there's clearly agitators on both sides. There's well-intentioned people on both sides. There's people that believe exactly what you said in the worst case scenario. They want to, they believe that the only way forward is their way. So I think that, is stuff like this required to maybe force those conversations to happen? But see, the problem is, and here's something that there were multiple open calls, and I mean, Nick Shirley interviewed that guy just a moment ago, and I think we get into it. He literally says that if he would like, they're fine with people dying, but I'm also giving them enough, trying to give them enough grace because again, they're younger people, they're angry. If that was your okay, look at how strong of an emotional response you still get from like the left or like the trans topic, right? What am I trying to say? What did I just say?
Talking about the trans, the how do you sorry, I got distracted by that
Yeah, it's fine.
thing. I had
That's
person had
fine.
a ban.
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is there's just multiple different groups here. I lost the last point I was trying to make. It's fine.
Well, you were trying to make a point about how people basically lose their mind when it comes to certain
Oh,
things,
people
and
get
you're
emotionally
using
triggered because their worldview is
yeah,
threatened. Yeah.
yeah,
If you're threatening their religion, which is their worldview, right? If you're a Christian,
hmm
your worldview is going to be based on that theological framework, probably. Same thing for them. The difference is like there's never any Christian response equivalent to like, oh, if you burn the Bible in front of a Christian, they're just going to be like, you're a piece of shit. But you see more of action, physical force used in response of things. And
yeah, and that's actually one of my primary points. But go ahead, finish your thought.
it seems too upfront. Like it's very common. It seemed like naturally just yeah, I can just say this and it's completely fine, and I can think this and it's completely fine. And I guess that's where the difference in ideologies then branches off, because both can't exist then.
Yeah, because one is I mean, again, there's bias in this, what I'm about to say, but the Christian side is primarily about peace, where the Islam is not. And the whole concept of taqiyya inside the Islam religion, where they can lie to whoever they want, as long as it's in the further of Islam. And there is nothing inside the Christianity faith that allows that.
I didn't get the sense that a lot of these real people actually were operating from a manipulative space like that. It's just kind of what their worldview was, so they wouldn't view it as a lie.
Well, exactly. It's they firmly believe, because whether or not you want to call it religious indoctrination or whatever, this can be said about all religions in general, but specifically talking about how, like, in the Quran, it specifically states that you are to enact violence of various forms against those who are non-believers. Whereas in Christianity, it's turn the other cheek. A good way of putting it is like when Christ was on the cross, he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Well, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not too sprung up on Islam or read into it too much. The actual Quran, I should say, itself, that Muhammad actually said that, kill the unbelievers. So there is this direct duality between the Christian faith and Islam. And we are seeing more and more evidence of, the violent side of Islam, or the violence of Islam, I should say, based upon how this guy reacted. And because it's just within their religion, they have been brought up, they've been indoctrinated into the belief that anything that goes against their prophets or anything else.
No, hold on. Did he have any reason to respond that way?
Responding with violence?
Respond with threats of violence.
Because he believes that any kind of insult against the Quran or the Prophet is a direct attack on his religion and thus him.
Mm-hmm. And what happens whenever Christians respond a similar way?
We get demonized.
Well, so that's when you'll get that second crusade. But I don't want to go too down that theological road. I don't want to make this all about Islam. I mean, it's just about the event and the people, right?
Okay, I understand.
So
that's just me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Good. So this is him trying to mend the fence, saying like, "Hey, that guy's not with us."
Fuck that pussy. 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 Hey, let's just...
I've seen this exact thing from other perspectives.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, there's cameras everywhere, dude. There was 10 to 15 cameras minimum at like pretty much every single person that like this was one that like some people didn't get because this was like middle of the pack and like the 2 area on the map that I pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up like saying, hey, no, we're cool. I understand that guy's a piece of shit, but again, when you get mad, your IQ drops. And you don't think as clearly. You say things that you probably don't mean, or you probably do mean, but you aren't aware enough to not say it. And I'm sure we'll circle into that in a minute. Let me see here. Okay, I think this is where I can go to the next one. Which one's this? Yeah, okay, so these ones might be a little jumbled here, and there's just 110, 523. All right, so we'll do this one. So this is walking on like the third section. This is somewhere around 3. There's like the super long, grassy, patchy area. There's not a whole lot there. And then you get to the library. So it was just a casual part of the walk, I guess. Not a whole lot of high intensity moments in this area down to the police station. But as far as like physical things that I saw or was aware of, but there were conversations. This girl looked a lot like Emma Vigeland, but I'm not sure. she was collecting. She was trying to get interviews of people that like maybe didn't have a whole lot to it. She seemed to be interviewing people, but didn't engage much. She looked familiar, and I was like, I don't know who this is, and I need to look and see if that's who that was.
I'm not familiar with the person you're talking about, or
she's
at least not.
She's a
firsthand.
well-known like I guess Democrat or liberal podcast person, like one of the decently known ones.
Okay.
I could be wrong. So I'm saying my first thought was I saw that person. I was like, that kind of looks like, but I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
And this is pretty much just at the back, and this is all of the people walking down. There's just what maybe 50 people, maybe 60, but
is there intermixed?
Yes.
Groups.
So yeah, okay. we'll cover that in a second when I get the different angle. So yeah, this is right before that intersection, I think. And then we go to this one. Yeah, this is where he's saying he spit on him. I also want to address something here. Conversation that I heard, or just words that I heard between this person and I believe that same police officer once we get down towards like the police station, city hall area. Remember how I said like they seemed like to understand? This was what made me feel that way. Because the guy on the right seemed to have, I guess maybe he seemed to be kind of one of the leaders of the Palestinian protesters, the ones that had like the signs, and I'm guessing the people who brought the drum that was banging it, and like he seemed to have pull with that direction. And then I believe, I don't know. Yeah.
And the kid in the black there, is that the guy who, not the black guy, but the guy right in front of us here, in the black sweatshirt there? Was that the guy who punched? I mean, he has the same hairstyle.
Are you talking about today, Jake Lang today?
Yeah, during the protest. Kind of looked like the kid. No, okay, it's not.
I don't think so.
Disregard. No, it's not. Now that I actually see his face, it's not him.
But around this parking lot up here, like more people joined in. As far as like the timing of people joining up at that time were very awkward. It was like a rendezvous point or something. It looked strange. Just wanted to note that. But yeah, that was the altercation with just after apparently he got spit on. Then we have 110.
Okay. Just to let you know, this is footage that Q actually got himself in Dearborn this past week. So just letting you know.
It's a Q exclusive. But yeah, feel free to ask questions as well. And then Brewer, you'll have to respond to them or ask them.
Yep.
Yes,
he was at this. He actually went.
I traveled there, and I was there it was about 3 hours in total. I'm not going to recap just so I can keep moving. But so this was at the front of the protest. So the last video that we saw was at the back. This was like I walked up to the front, and you can see the guy that we just saw here. Like all of them were together in a group, but they were marching in front of the actual marching banner, like the no Islamification of Michigan banner.
You have the media player still up.
Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, this.
There you go.
So like they were using their signs to constantly surround and block the other people. I mean, like probably at least like I don't know, 5 to 8 to 1 ratio at least most of the time. But they were trying to steal the banner from them. Just trying to obstruct their view. Yeah, go ahead.
So there was more Palestinian protesters versus the, anti-Islam protesters?
As far as actual ones that were like participating in like what I think I'm referencing as kind of the entertainment or show portion, the theatric portion of it. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, and then the pro-Palestinian were the ones that were trying to block everything.
Yes. So like the people that have the banners up here right now, he actually says he does an interview, I think it might have been Cam, it might have been Nick Shirley, but he says they should get Charlie Kirk. Basically says like it's fine if they die. Yeah, that's that guy.
That's where I seen that guy. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember seeing that guy before, but okay, that makes sense. Okay, I just conflated the two. Got it.
And I mean, yeah. So I just wanted to get footage firsthand, just because I wanted to know what's real. Like, and this is my honest take of what I saw, what I experienced, and footage that I took myself. So you can see 1, 2, 3 signs, and then the 4th sign is there. Americans against Islamification. So they were just surrounding them. So I mean, look at all the cameras, dude. Like there's probably like 500 cameras here, and like maybe 10 actors.
Yeah, it's definitely people trying to.
This guy,
just
right here,
get a lot of information.
I'll talk about him later.
Yeah,
but he is like the guy with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just wait. Okay. Right there was Cam Higbee on the right side of the screen. He seems to be very, very good at getting up in the groups, the conversations. He's very good at like picking up on where something might be happening and just like getting in there and asking the questions. So like great journalist, I think. And I did see like the results of him being pepper sprayed. Like his face was just like red and he was miserable, but that was like much earlier on. I just want to say that like I saw the after effects of that and I was like, what happened? He's like, oh, he just got pepper sprayed. I was like, oh, okay. But that was after they like took money from him, broke his camera and some other stuff. And I think that he covers that whenever he addresses the mayor later.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
So I know what you're referring to the actual beating speech he did.
So yeah, now we're just passing. This is just in front of the Dearborn Police Station. And this sign says organize, worker, community, student, defense guard, stop. What does that even mean?
That's a lot of
organize, worker, community, jumble, defense guard, stop us. It's like come on. It's like I'm charging.
Like they just throw down.
I'm charging up a Kamehameha wave. Points. That's what I'm doing.
Or
organize, worker, community, student, defense guard, stop us.
Reminds me of the South Park episode, or actually South Park movie with Cartman going quote unquote Super Saiyan and cussing because of the chip he had and they fire out the lightning. It's kind of
yeah.
What you just did reminded me of that. So
but you can see all the 7 officers on the roof of the police station.
Interesting. That makes sense. That's the police station, but yeah.
But look at the energy of this clip.
Everyone's just meandering.
Just look at the overall energy. People just walking, a handful of people just being loud. The same agitators like are there throughout the whole thing. There's Jake Lang marching with a sign. Right? So there's Jake actually talking to Kim, apparently. And there's that police officer from earlier. There's a guy I mentioned. But look, people are just walking, talking. Look, we're making noise. This was the general vibe of the majority of it. Outside of like the sensational moments that are like 1 to 2 minutes apiece. So over the 3-hour course, this is pretty much the scenario. It was people trying to block the sign from being seen, just so no one can see the message. They want to obscure it. And that's actually going to it's going to draw more attention to it. So that, it's they're shooting themselves in the foot by that mark.
Which is something that they do often. I mean, that specific tactic they use that always seems to backfire, but they
Yeah.
never correct it, which is, well, I won't go down that hole.
Just
But yeah,
imagine if you would have had no opposition to this and you just let them march down Michigan, and it would have been like maybe 20, 30 people, and everyone would have been like, cool, bro. Just imagine doing nothing completely wrecks the other side.
It does, actually, because from what you're describing is that there was more, pro-Palestinian versus the actual protesters. That would actually wreck, and it would deflate the entire movement. But because there were so many people that were intermingled in there, that actually boosted the numbers, or appeared to have boosted the numbers, because both sides can now claim that they were all their own protesters or something like that. So it was a self-defeating thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, well, whatever. Which it alludes to many, many things, but I won't go down those rabbit holes right now. So, but yeah, go ahead.
0724. Okay. So this was once we got to the back of no, this is still in front of the Dearborn City Hall. This is the front side of the building. And this is Jake Lang in front of me. And that's the bacon. So this is the bacon that he was hitting off of the
I don't see it.
Oh, sorry. Stop. I forgot to switch. I apologize. There we go. So this is Jake Lang in front of the city hall, and there's the bacon that he was carrying around the whole time.
Oh wait, stop. That guy right there, you can see he's in the middle of the screen just staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
That stare I have seen before, personally, and that is not a good stare. That is, ooh. And if anyone actually sees this, that's also been prior military, that has actually seen combat, they will know what that means. So, okay, understood. Continue. I just wanted to point that out because that immediately zoned in on that. Boy, that caused me a flashback too. Sorry. Whew, okay, I'm good. Continue.
So,
now
do you see how everyone is like, this guy was from earlier. He was there the whole time. I think he was there's another clip that I saw. He might have tried to take something. I don't want to say that yet. I'm not going to say that yet. But essentially you see like a group of people following Jake around. This was, I guess, the primary show. So everywhere he went, he had people following him and trying to surround him, so he would just keep moving. Same thing with the people carrying the banner. They would like cross the street. All of them would cross the street to continue to obstruct them. Yeah. I mean, look at all these cameras. But then there's like one or two people that don't have cameras. Also, it was like 30. It was like in the 30s. It was really cold out. There's Cam.
That explains why there's not a whole lot of people out there.
Okay, so there's that. Ill intent stare. Decisions have been made. Yeah. No. Yeah. The eyes are the window to the soul. That's true.
Oh yeah.
Does that make it too big? That makes it too big. Interesting. That cuts it off screen. Okay. I'll just leave it like this then. Which one was that? $5503 0724. Okay, so this one's the next one. This was in the back side of the police station. No, this was still on the side, I think. No, this was backside the police station. This is the backside City Hall. That's the parking lot for City Hall.
This is where people started getting a little loud, from what I can tell.
I mean, look at all these police. Like, there's so many. But I mean, they had they had like the mayor meeting, so I guess they pulled in the entire police force. They had a lot of cops there. I don't know about the entirety, but there was a lot. People coming to put on masks to hide their face. I find that very, very, very strange.
I don't.
Very strange. Oh, I'm being facetious when I say that, of course.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let me see here. 2205. So this is the backs. This is the opposite view, where you can see the obstruction of. Yeah, you can see the obstruction. This is what they were doing. They're using their signs to always block that message, so no one can see it.
So much for people believing in freedom of expression, but it's not necessarily the right framing for that, but goes what comes to mind anyway.
Mm-hmm. We have 252, 2532. I think this guy got arrested. I don't really know why, and I didn't see anyone else really cover it.
Yeah. Any idea which protest he was for?
I believe that he would have been with like the pro-Muslim side. I don't know for sure. I do not have enough specific information about this one. It's just I was able to get this, but I mean, again, there were every single part of camera that you don't see in view has cameras in it. So, and then like they're cheering this person on, hey, you're getting, so he probably did something. And then the cops have to arrest him because of the law. And then they're cheering him on for doing that. That's kind of what it felt like. Just based on kind of how the pieces lined up at that time.
Who was cheering him on?
It seemed like it would have been, it was like the pro-Muslim group saying like, hey, good job. Like you did something to the other side. But I didn't see it. I'm just saying that was,
gotcha.
That was kind of what I gathered just based on the immediate situation. So I can't claim that is a fact. That's just how I received it at that time.
Gotcha.
Look, all of these are cameras. There's Cam. There's that. Oh, he's be gone. We have a clip from him later. 746. So this one's the next one. So they moved from in front of the police station back into the parking lot. So it kind of became like this. Yeah, it became prayer time for them. So there were maybe like 10 or so-ish people that broke off from the group to go do this. I guess, yeah, that's probably about the extent that went to go do their Muslim evening prayers. And I just thought
definitely shows the disparity in the numbers there a little bit from the pro-Palestinian, pro-Muslim, and the actual protesters.
it did seem odd to me, like if this was all about that and they were so profound in their faith, they would have stopped what they were doing to go do that.
Well, a lot of the pro-Palestinian people are not Islam.
Yeah, but right. So I mean, like that undermines their cause, or their I guess, yeah, it undermines their cause. It doesn't, like, to me, at least to me, it's like I was expecting, okay, this is happening. All of these people are going to go over that way? No, it was only that little group, and then that one person that I mentioned earlier. I don't know who he is, but if he's not known, I'm pretty sure he will be. As far
which
as
guy? Sorry.
Oh, when I see him.
The guy with the curly hair.
Yeah, from earlier. Yeah. Okay, so there's that one. 446. Okay. Okay, so this guy, this is my angle of this this argument.
Oh, yeah, I've been looking forward to this. And when you told me you had this, so yeah, let's listen.
So he was on the march. I think Cam or Shirley ended up, I think might have been Shirley getting him too, because again, Shirley does a really good job talking to people, and he looks different in person. Just saying.
Pause it. Let's say the guy on the right.
Okay.
Which side was he on?
He's on the pro-America side, or like the anti-Muslim side. I can't say anti-Muslim. That doesn't seem fair based on what I gathered from him as a person, just like listening to him talk across this adventure.
Okay.
He seemed pretty level-headed. It's just like you have to acknowledge some base realities of things. But leading up to this, it was like, oh, you won't do nothing. Oh, you won't do nothing. This was where I was like, it seemed really like posturing, but he's also by himself. And there's like masked dude, clearly outnumbered. Oh, wait. Do I see an army whoopee?
Yes, you do.
Who are you?
So, which guy, if you know, started the posturing first?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't catch the beginning of it, but the general pattern of behaviors were a group of people going after one person. I don't think that he was really, based on what I saw of the person on the right, he wasn't really intentionally inflaming things. Like I said, I didn't gather that from him. He didn't really, it didn't seem part of his demeanor to really operate that way. At least I didn't see that, and I didn't get any kind of indication that would be that way. But I do think that he was there saying, hey, like, you know, no one was willing to take the first swing, right? But the one side is able to like have overwhelming numbers, and I think that there are indicators and areas of concern that should be addressed, at least in conversation, on the larger picture, because there were a lot of the younger people there that I really don't think they understand much about their religion or the world in general. But I also know that those are the ones that are going to probably grow up and influence culture or influence the area around them, become the city leaders. So thinking ahead is not a bad idea for stuff like this. But yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. He was surrounded.
He's completely surrounded. But I do give him props for holding his ground, just standing there. See, I'm gonna get in your face. I'm not gonna touch you. It's like the don't touch me game. I'm not touching you. But I don't want to devalue their points. But again, they're not making arguments because they're angry. But there's also moments of explosive anger, like it's theatrics sometimes. Like there's sometimes it's like normal. Then there's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna effing do this, man. I'm gonna come up there, and it's just like, and then they go back to just being like normal, like ha 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 ha, like that'll make a good clip. Like I totally saw shit like that. So like, are there real moments of this? Yes. Some of it, at least some of it, is just a performance. But it was so mixed well together. It's very hard to point out which is which with just the amount of time and energy that we can put together right now. Like if I sat down and broke this out, I could probably figure it out. But that's not my job. So the cop comes in and like, okay, well, you need to back away. And I want to cover the interview that they got. But I think some of the faces that we saw so far, and we'll see probably by the end of this, they'll pop up in the future conversations too. And I think that's where we'll start to see those patterns emerge. So they guess they convinced the other guy to walk away. I find that strange.
Well, there's two reasons why they could have done that. One is because, of course, he was outnumbered. It's easier to remove the one guy versus the many. But also on the other side of that is there's a lot of evidence of this second side, that the police were primarily there on the side of the pro-Muslim individuals.
Well, the police are going to be there to protect their citizens, so they also have to think about who their constituents are, right?
That's like I completely 100%. Like I'm not discrediting that at all. I was just making that statement that there is evidence to show that they were primarily only there to protect. Like it could just be more of, like you saying, citizens of the town versus the pro-Muslim. But of course, everyone now associates Dearborn as a Muslim majority, and so they consider that a Muslim town. So it's not a stretch to conflate those together and keep them the same thing. I'm not saying I agree with that statement.
The simplest message is usually the one that makes it the furthest, just because everyone can understand it. And that's kind of the problem with ever painting somebody into a picture of like one side or the other. I know Dearborn police officers. I've ran into them in the past. Like most of these people are completely normal. But based on the behaviors of people around some of this stuff, it kind of maybe indicates there's something deeper to look at. Especially the public face that's presented from the mayor itself. A lot of this probably actually is based around the mayor. Telling that the Christian citizen that was just trying to say, hey, why do you want to name this particular street after someone who supports terrorism and bad things? And he's like, I can't wait. I'll hold a parade whenever you're out of my city. And I mean, I get so
that's kind of the point I was making with the second side there.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of blatant, was that bigotry? It's not racism.
Technically it is.
Yeah, so that blatant bigotry, I guess the response to that is people coming out and creating, holding events and protests like this to spread awareness about, the most offensive things they can. Because engaging in the conversation doesn't seem to be possible because all these people get so angry so fast. you know, you can't have a conversation like that. So then it devolves so quickly. And like I don't have the IQ to spare to get angry, right? I know that. So that's why
One way to look at it.
That's why I don't allow myself to get angry, because whenever I get angry, I say stupid shit. And I do see avenues for hope between the Christian Muslim communication, at least as far as the setting goes. But you know, there's going to be bad actors and people that lie on both sides. And I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, I don't discredit that at all.
Yeah, I'm only interested in what is actually true, what I know to be true, and then we can figure the rest out. But this is them, the group from the very beginning across the street, still trying to block the sign, anything to do that. The one guy that I mentioned earlier, he talked to the police, saying, "Hey, you know, all of these guys will leave whenever, you know, we'll disperse when they disperse." So like these protesters were apparently planning for like a long haul. At least it seemed to be indicated that way.
There's one thing that I'm finding interesting is that I haven't really seen here yet is a separation of one protest side versus the other. Most of the other protests you see that are along the same vein here, the police always separate them. Always.
Well, I mean, the majority. So actually, I think this is the clip that captures kind of the herd mentality. Let me go ahead and show you this. So remember how I told you it was like one person? So I'm standing on like a concrete step up in front of the building of the police station, looking out towards the parking lot. And this is them.
You saw this. You have the other.
Yeah,
is it the same clip we're looking at now, or is it a different
this one?
Okay.
This one. So it was everybody following Jake Lang around at this point, because he was like the most offensive. He was the largest target for them, I guess. I guess he was the largest agitator from their perspective.
Yep.
But you see everybody walking with their phones. Like the majority of these people are just there for the attention, to see something happen. They're not there because they actually care. A lot of this is show. A lot of it's show. But the thing is like there is enough real, okay? Like I don't want to downplay this. Like a lot of it appeared to be show, but there is a very real undertone of something serious. Like there were people there like that they had the air about them of bloodlust. Not like in a super big way, but like you could tell, like about the person with the eyes earlier, right? You can like I pick up on stuff like that. I can like generally tell, like if you know, it's just being perceptive of other people.
Well, I would definitely agree, or I should say, take your word for it, considering you're also prior military, and that you definitely developed a kind of, I don't want to say sixth sense, but it might be the best descriptor or metaphor for it. When you see that kind of thing, and there is definitely an energy, definitely an ambiance that is created when there are people, but have that kind of mentality or that kind of the bloodlust that you're describing. So I will say that I believe what you're saying, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. I'd say there was at least 5 different groups of people there. At least.
That's interesting. Okay.
At least 5. As far as their own particular agendas, and if their directions overlap, that's fine. But as far as the general breakouts, I'd say there's probably at least 5.
So there were probably just, based on analyzing what I've seen so far, and there's 5 different groups. You have like the 2 primary sides, but then you have within the like subgroups, people who are more agitating, more there for the show, and more there for trying to get clips or whatever.
Right.
And so there's definitely a lot of different values, core values, in a lot of these individuals.
And the fifth group of people are the ones that got called in that weren't really aware of the situation or anything really going on. So I'm counting them in a different category because they probably weren't given the entire information.
Called in.
Well, I'm just saying, like, people like that showed up, like the kids that went to go get their friends and stuff like that, were
Ah,
like, yeah, like people that like
okay.
contacted like other. I'm guessing people in like the Muslim community got contacted, and those people showed up at some point. I don't know on what level, but there's it seemed to be there to be something there, something that I would have looked at if I had. I guess if I had all of my old information, I could figure it out, but that's a different story.
I guess. Yeah, I understood. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Let me make sure. Okay, so yeah, that covers the footage that I have. Let me go ahead and switch some stuff over real quick, and then I'll get the. I'm gonna close out these videos now.
That's overall, though, I say that's a pretty interesting perspective to have because, I mean, if I lived closer, I probably would have gone to it too. And if there's ever where I'm at, very unlikely to have any kind of situation like this, at least in the next year or two. But I would definitely want to go to one of these protests sometime in the future on my own. Maybe you and I can go together to something like that and actually maybe start interviewing or doing something like that to kind of participate a bit more to kind of get a better feel because I will say that I am definitely have some bias one way or another because of what I see. But at the same time, I'm not 100% believing anything I see. And you, what you did there, what you described, and just your overall take on the situation definitely reinforces my now uh, view on don't believe everything you see. So this was definitely a great exercise in that. So yeah, interesting.
I would definitely recommend people to go experience one. It was I don't make a habit of going to stuff like that. I don't like having, I don't like exposing myself that much. But
I'm the same way, but it's definitely, especially since we're kind of in this space now,
yeah,
is definitely something we need to experience a bit more.
it's valuable
So
perspective. So yeah,
yeah,
I felt like it was an opportunity that I could give an honest take. That way, all of the other stuff that comes out and that we're going to actually look at next, regarding some of the people involved and some of the other conversations. And this will circle back to all of the raw footage that I just shared. So again, I'm doing this for fair use and criticism of things, just so we can understand the situation.
yep, good job, dude. I appreciate you taking time going out and doing that. I know that took you way out of your comfort zone, so thank you, and it definitely helped shift my perspective. Damn, list because of my teeth. So yeah, that's it. Good job, and I appreciate what you did. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully some people see it and like we can get something. Cause I mean, it's the opportunity to get rare raw footage. Like
Hmm.
I wish that I after going, I know how other people do it. So I could easily create a setup and go to these things. I didn't have the gear, and like, getting your camera up and ready 10 seconds sooner matters, or being able to run it the whole time matters, so you don't miss like the things that kind of start some of these engagement.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I do know that there's are some of those people have like 3 or 4 different phones,
yeah,
and they'll always have one running.
yeah.
So with some, like batteries hooked up to them and stuff like that. So I mean, but still, I mean, it's one of
I
those.
tried to get what I could without trying
Yeah.
to compete, because it was like, okay, I don't have that stuff, and I don't like, I wanted to experience part of it than just like record and be behind the screen for the whole thing, just so I could
Hmm.
kind of have a more, what's that, cathartic response, I guess.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to have like a GoPro or something like attached to your chest in the future or something like that. I mean, just shooting ideas or shooting ways to do it. The problem is then that becomes a target for theft. So there's things you
Yeah,
can do to
but
mitigate that, but
yeah,
yeah.
if something like that happens, it happens. Anyways, so you sent this video. Um, and so we're gonna shift. This is gonna be one long segment. Bro, I'm pretty sure I'm cutting off the end of what we had for today. Um,
Yeah.
we'll
Makes sense.
we'll cover these tabs for this section since it relates to the previous footage. Um, is there anything that you wanted to say before I play this? I found this very, very strange. I'm concerned about starting. It's about the narrative, and I wonder if after just going through what we just did, if you'll have a different feeling about this video.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly the guy talked about 100% because memory and all that.
This video feels slimy to me. I'm sorry.
That was something I was going to talk about with it. But yeah, let's say just play it and then
Okay.
we'll talk about it. Just play it in its entirety. It's a minute 43. So
The bikers, they're going to Dearborn.
Oh, I want to give him credit. This is Jake Can. So this is they're saying the bikers are already in Dearborn, so Dearborn, Michigan. So same topic. Tensions are high, so we'll cover that.
After we saw the brave Americans walk into Dearborn and the way that they were treated, the bikers are already there. If you're seeing this, the fights have already started to break out in one of their biggest parks. The local government,
with no
Stop.
proof.
What's their biggest park?
Sorry, say it again.
What's the biggest park?
In Dearborn?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Okay. I really, 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 really do not think that the bikers would go fight over shit like this.
I agree. So, I mean, actually, and after seeing what, everything we just talked about, it seems like that there are people just trying to stir up shit. This guy's trying to get clicks and likes and stuff like that. I mean, I mostly sent it to you because this was, an example of the rhetoric that's been going on more than anything else. But
well, I mean, he's leaving out information just from him presenting it. So I can't believe this person.
No, it makes sense to me. I
agree
with what you're saying.
You wanted me to play it. Sorry, let's play it.
Yeah.
are already there. If you're seeing this, the fights have already started to break out in one of their biggest parks. The local government is siding with Islam and calling this a racist attack by American bikers. This wasn't supposed to kick off till tomorrow, but local bikers are already there with huge numbers of bikers on the way. They're going to barbecue pork in smokers.
This looks like AI.
With their motorcycles around all the neighborhoods. So they're saying, will the administration understand that Americans are not happy about what's happening in our country?
But
will they do something about it? Only time will tell. But we're going to get to a point where if the violence gets bad and the local police departments can't handle it,
stop.
She's going to call in the mayor.
I have to say that this guy is full of shit. Yeah, because the way that he was, you can just see kind of like the shifty eyes he's acting.
Of course. I mean, you could see it from the beginning.
So
watch his eyes in the beginning.
Biggest parks.
Yeah.
Right there. Biggest parks. Look away. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, but see, my problem is the way that he scales this up. Watch the way that he scales it up.
Will they do something about it? Only time will tell. But we're going to get to a point where if the violence gets bad and the local police departments can't handle it, she's going to call in the mayors.
Performing. I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like it's performing.
Yeah, and then and I remember him talking about how they're going to have to call in the, everything else or the National Guard to get Trump involved. Yeah, this is definitely someone just trying to stir up shit. Well, I don't believe that.
I mean, I'm fine with engaging with the conversation that he brings up with it, though, right? Like, what would the National Guard do? So, I can give it's not my type of content that I would prefer to consume, but I can engage with the question. The National Guard should probably side with the American side, but see, that's the thing. Like, how does that work out?
Well, the only way I could think is about it from the doctrine that I know. Of course, it could have changed over the last decade. Was be that they wouldn't necessarily side with anybody; they would just separate. and anyone who broke the law, they would take in regardless of the side. That would be what you would expect from the armed forces to come in, because they can't really be mediators, but they can be deterrents.
They'd just be a buffer.
Yeah. So the problem is, of course, I mean, we kind of have to bring up the 6 senator congressmen who, directly address the uniformed military, active duty military, about, disobeying quote unquote unlawful orders.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and the seditious nature of that, which I mean, I could break down everything about that,
Well,
but
I'm pretty sure if you look at
not right now.
If you look at the history of the people that are doing it, at least one of them was prior CIA. So,
well, and 2 of them were naval intelligence.
yeah.
So, and pretty high ranking ones at that. So, yes, there. I mean, like I could speak to a lot of that, but I'm, that's outside kind of the scope of this right now.
Different scope.
But the problem, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say now. Oh, okay. So with the bringing in the National Guard and the yeah, I just don't like the way this is heading. I don't like this kind of rhetoric. It's people pushing an agenda masquerading as something else. So
this one doesn't feel like agenda. This one just feels like someone paying attention to kind of what's going on and just trying to create content off of it. It just looks like someone trying to create sensational content. I don't sense maliciousness in this. I mean, this deception for sure, but
yeah,
art is deception on some level.
Yeah, I think the deception would probably be a better way to say it. I was trying to formulate the better way to say it, but yeah, I think the deception is a good way to put this in here, because one, talking about the bikers, which I haven't seen anything about.
I mean, I know quite a few bikers in the area, so
yeah. So yeah, that's okay. Then I would definitely defer to you on how you would think about that.
I really don't think that would happen. I also could go into previous historical. I guess it would be evidence at this point, but I'm not gonna do that. This will be me. This will be my trust me, bro.
Me personally, I do trust you because of what we're doing here, obviously. But yeah, I don't like this video now. I mean, I mostly put that up there to kind of to see what your opinion was, what about the bikers and the possibility of what he was talking about, not necessarily the like his intentions behind it. But now that I saw it, I can't not see it.
Yeah. Oh, just so people know that the types of people or the types of real bikers that would ever get engaged in stuff like that would still be riding their motorcycles as long as there's not snow on the ground. So like, there's still people out riding their bikes. The real bikers are still. Well, I'm not gonna say the real bikers. The ones that want to are still out riding their bikes, and the majority of them, you don't want to fuck with them. You just don't. I mean, they're usually good people. They're usually, like, honestly, like, they're usually really good guys. They view the world differently, but they're also the type of people that you don't fuck with. You know, they're the people that want to be left alone. And I think that's like what a lot of the motorcycle club culture is people just looking for brotherhood, looking for friends, looking to have fun, sharing stuff in life together, ride your bike places, right? A lot of times that stuff was just parties. It was just people having fun and having parties. So like, people's perception of even bikers is way too influenced by Hollywood.
Yep. I was going to say that exact line. I also just did a quick search and I don't see anything about bikers going to Dearborn. It kind of just seems like that guy was just making stuff up.
It seemed completely fabricated based on everything that I know about that particular area and the people that I know there. Mm-hmm. I would be shocked, and I really don't think that they would be dumb enough to do something like that. They're smarter than that. They're smarter than that.
That's an old clip. That guy is possibly using old information, because I am seeing things from last year or a long time ago. Actually.
Oh, so he's trying to bring up other stuff and bring it into the current conversation. Interesting.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not making that claim,
Sure.
but it is within the realm of possibility. So, anywho, all right, let's move on.
All right, so this is from today. I think today. So I think this is what they were referencing today as like a march today or a protest today. I think that because it's dated today from RT on X. I didn't know that this was going on, or maybe I could have gone to cover
That
it
happened
too.
yesterday.
This happened. Okay, so this is from yesterday.
Yes.
Was this the same trek?
Yes, it was the exact same everything. The guy, being in front, and then the guy just walking along and just randomly slugging the guy, and then he runs off, and you can kind of see him run back around where that black truck is right now.
Yeah.
Because he starts getting chased by people.
So this guy's sitting there walking alongside. I'm guessing he has that same kind of stairs before. That's why I wondered if it was the same guy. And then just out of nowhere, punches him in the face, runs away.
And he's even bad at throwing a punch, but
yeah, but he complete cold cocked him and didn't knock him out.
Well, I could go into the reason why with the punch and
Well,
the huge amount of wasted energy.
Yeah, this kid doesn't know how to throw a punch.
No, he doesn't.
But he but he knows how to be violent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my problem with this is the fact that even if someone is slapping bacon on the Quran or burning the Quran or burning the Bible, like this is only going to, like, stuff like this is going to create groypers. And then groypers are going to end up being a very big problem for all of the people who are not grateful for what the country actually offers.
That movement, that's going to be big.
The groypers are going to take off. It's going to be massive because they're the type of people that have they're tired of being called racist. They're tired of being called bigots. And they're just like, okay, fuck it. Yo, we're at least going to have fun because you're going to do this shit anyways. And stuff like this is exactly going to fuel that. And I'm sorry, but like the rate is not going to be comparable.
Well, it's how many times and how many of these episodes have we done now where I have said that exact thing, that the more that you push people in a direction and pigeonhole them by force into that direction, they are going to begin taking up those creeds because they don't have another choice in order to, within their own minds of, survival within the culture. So they are creating their own enemies. It's the exact same thing that would happen, if you want to kind of analog it to the what happened in the Middle East is, the U.S. going in and creating more enemies for ourselves because we, did what we did over in the Middle East. It's the exact same thing, just in the mirror. So,
yeah, it's strange. Anytime that I'm like in this space thinking about this stuff, I'm always trying to think of like the moral high ground and how much authority it actually gives you. And then like once you give that up, you don't get it back until you like are on the receiving end for a very long time. Like once you give up the moral high ground on something, I think maybe that's why being slow and cautious with making decisions is important.
Yeah, because it also gives off the
go ahead. No, you go.
I was gonna say because it gives off the air of temperance. Like if you have temperance in your actions, and it's also one of the reasons why sometimes I pause before I say things. So I'm going to think about what I'm saying, and because the consequences of it, because I don't just think about what I'm saying. I think about what the consequences of what I'm saying could be. And those who are slower to respond typically at least appear at face value to be more likely in the right because they're not immediately acting out of anger. So, or at least not appearing to act out of anger. So there's definitely that perception.
Okay. Well, I know that in the footage that we covered, I mentioned Cam Higbee. This was one of the guys. This is the guy that got pepper sprayed, and he apparently got to Dearborn like a night or two before.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen this. Okay.
So I'm not going to really play it because I don't want to steal all of this stuff. But he was just messing around in around a mosque, and he got followed by a drone. He had vehicles pulling up to follow him. It's stuff like this that makes people, especially if this is accurate. And I believe that Cam would generally present stuff as factually accurate. But again, I think that whenever you're like my perspective of watching something and being up next to it, would change your feeling about it. Like perceiving something
Well,
from the outside versus being up next to like where the action is actually happening. I think that sometimes like the energy and the impressions of that get expressed, but I think that he's generally a pretty honest individual.
well, I will say that I did see multiple things about this, and they didn't even notice it. He was live streaming this, and it was the people in the live stream who were the ones saying, "Hey, that black truck has gone by multiple times now, or it and appears to be following you." Like they didn't notice it at first. They weren't even paying. They weren't paying that close attention to their surroundings, and so yeah, I would definitely say that, like, to agree with your point, the more you create this kind of atmosphere or conduct actions such as these that could be interpreted as aggressive,
We
you're
interpret it as you're
gonna
hiding
be
something inside of the mosques because okay, so like
exactly.
there is protections, at least there appears to be protections for like pretty much anything Muslim in the area. Like that's a thing. Like it's a thing.
Well, and from what I understand, he was trying to go in there just to actually interview and talk to people, and like you're saying, have an honest conversation. But they
Well,
just absolutely did not want to do that.
this is something that I don't know for sure, but I know that he spent a lot of time like during the march covering Jake Lang, right? I mean, rightfully so.
Hmm.
He's a journalist. He's going to go get a bunch of other things, and that's where a lot of the content and high energy stuff was. But if he ended up even if he even unintentionally gets associated with him or he's part of the same group as him, then like they would probably treat him or put him in the same category as Jake, as far as the same way they would treat him. Um, so
Yeah, but if the question I would have is because that all happened the next day. This is the day before that they're
right,
trying to go out there and get this information. So,
but
but
see,
then again, you have a white boy going up that, obviously the day before there's going to be a massive protest. Like, I mean, I understand the perspective from, the people of the mosque inside the mosque that this could possibly be a threat or they're trying to, pull some shenanigans. I completely understand that. But the response
the response
is
doesn't seem
creates,
right.
yeah,
It creates doubt and like
yeah, exactly.
it makes me wonder. Like, okay, is something going on inside of the mosques that like the police would turn a blind eye to because they share the same faith?
That
That's
would
my
be my primary thing too. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, real question. And there's
I
no
mean,
way to
it's
know that unless you're in a seat of power. But if you have a majority controlled, city council,
and majority controlled Muslim police force,
right?
to the best of my knowledge. That's at least what I've heard. So yeah, it does create this two-tier type society. But then again, you could also have the argument on the other side of, if you don't have, representation of, your religion or ethnic group inside the police department, you could also view that as being oppressive as well. So it is kind of a shoe is on the other foot inside of Dearborn right now, and a lot of people, like predominantly white Christians, don't really know how to respond or because they're seeing what we have been accused of for a very long time happening to people of the same ethnicity and faith background. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see the duality here and kind of see the responses and how people are talking about it. So,
It's just it so. Hmm. It's hard to
take your
be.
time.
It's fine. It's just like it's if you focus on just the mayor it paints a very ugly picture of Muslims in the city.
Correct. Which is, I mean,
But
the problem is that he was elected. So
exactly.
the fact that he represents them in some way, shape, or form, and the fact that, and the way that he came out, and the way that, like I've been talking to and alluding to earlier, the way that, the way Islam is within, at least my perception of what I've seen and the knowledge that I have from my background, it definitely creates this air of threat against anyone who's non-Muslim in that area.
Well, if you ever go and like if you ever walk through Dearborn, you spend time, like the city is very nice. Like a lot of the areas of it are very nice. They're clean. The roads are done. Crime is usually pretty low, from what I know. There was a time I spent, we'll just say I know some people. It's
How recently was that? That you have spent time in Dearborn outside of this protest?
we'll just say that I maybe have a couple years worth of time there overall.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't.
We'll say that I'm familiar that I could drive through the area and probably not get lost, and that's saying something. I mean, Dearborn itself is small-ish. There's a lot of people. It doesn't look like it used to. Just based, like, you could go to like the Henry Ford Museum and stuff, and like see kind of like what the city used to look like, what the buildings used to look like. It looks
approximately
it looks
106,000 people there right now. So it's not a small. That's actually considered a city at that size.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the city of Dearborn. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to add. So Jake Lang, the guy that's been like the primary talking point of some of this, he's putting out a $50 million slander and defamation suit on Jake Shield, Owen Schroyer, Ryan Matta, Myron Gaines, Stu Peters, and Suleiman Ahmed.
I have no idea who the last person is.
I don't
or even
either.
Stu Peters.
Stu Peters, Republican or conservative podcaster. I remember seeing some of his stuff years ago. Seems like an okay person. Without going back and getting specific. Yeah, he seems okay. But
sorry, I was reading the text on the screen, and it says claims to be a paid provocateur. I can't say
provocateur
right now,
or fed.
Thank you.
Or a Jew. I mean, so is it or? Those are a lot of ors. I guess my question is, one, I don't want to get sued because I have an opinion about what I saw and what I experienced. Don't sue me. I don't have a side at the moment.
You haven't made a claim about what he is and is not. So
well, there's no way to really prove that. I mean, it looked like he had access to the governor's bus. So what I don't understand and what I'd like to understand about the relationship between him and like the Anthony Hudson for governor was, were they together? Is he part of like the tour or the campaign for that? That would inform me more of like, okay, if this is to generate politics and get stories, like I get it. It's like content creation, except it's real life and just innocent people get sucked into it. But I mean, it doesn't. What I don't want to say is like all of the efforts that he's making. If conversations can be had about the different sides and not make it just about like insulting people and getting the clicks, then I think that there can be value to it, because he's raising questions about like, okay, we do need to have a conversation about Islam in America and like the Judeo-Christian foundation of the country. I think like there needs to be a healthy understanding across everybody and have some standards put into place. And I mean, this stuff is, this is just going to create grapers. And I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's going to happen. So yeah, don't sue me. I would love to get some Israel money. I don't know if you've gotten any. I don't even know if that's real, but I just wanted to say, hey, he seems like I will give him credit for being able to stand in the face of all of those people screaming and yelling, and some of them very likely intending to hurt him. Some of the one we just watched a video where someone did punch him, but again, it was a young, influential or a young influenced person who probably doesn't know much about the situation, but now he might. I mean, he'll probably get a slap on the wrist just because of the area. Let's be honest.
Well, Jake himself could press charges too. So
I guess,
and at minimum, possibly do a civil suit. But the problem is he did have a bunch of videos of him saying like, "Hey, it didn't bother me. I don't care," and stuff like that. So he's not going to pursue it. So the kid's going to get away scot-free essentially. But
I think that is actually maybe the right way to play that, though.
I don't disagree. Yeah, because it kind of shows that, like, I don't know. I don't want to say humility.
You can attack me. I'm still here, but like, I don't have holding on to it isn't going to serve a purpose. Ruining that kid's future or starting a negative cycle for that kid. Like, you could say he was doing that for the benefit of that child, but probably not. No one thinks that far ahead in the moment. He's not really.
No, most wouldn't anyway.
Yeah. Here is the police officer after Cam got attacked, I believe. And this was back in the starting location that I had. I could pull it up if I need to, but this is back at the beginning of the protest. But I wanted to go ahead and just show you a little bit of it.
My main issue here is that you said I could go into the station later and file a report.
Quiet.
He's in black bloc. You're never going to find him again. You will never find him again. The detective will not find him. I promise you. I've been in this situation before.
I can't tell if he's smirking or if that's just like normal face posture.
You're never going to find him. He's masked head to toe. You will never find him again. The detective will not find him. I promise you. I've been in this situation before. You're never going to find him. He's masked head to toe.
It was the pursing of the lips
never
that
find
made
him
me think
again.
The fact that he covers his mouth directly after his telling.
It's like he thinks it's funny.
It's exactly what he thinks.
I don't.
He doesn't. The reason why he's not actually taking the statement. I mean, God, I don't want to make assumptions here. But the smirk and then covering up his mouth is
like covering up
indicative.
A laugh.
Yes, essentially. But you do that unconsciously when you're trying to hide something. Everyone does it. So he knows what he just did, or he knows he's smiling. He could feel it on his face. He has enough wherewithal within himself to understand what is happening and understand, like, feel the muscles on his face and all that kind of stuff. So he knows what's happening. So because he just covers it up and doesn't like scratch or maybe even like pick his nose or touch the beard or something, he directly goes over the mouth and just holds it there for a second. He's basically trying to get himself under control. So he absolutely did smirk at it, and he's doing the whole lawful evil type activity there in order to basically just brush the guy off so nothing happens to the guy, because he agrees with what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's at least my perspective on that based on that exchange there, because I have seen that video before. So
right. So yeah, I wanted
analyze it that close.
I wanted to reference this quick just because I want to cover what he actually says to the mayor a little bit later. But yeah, you guys should definitely go look at Cam's stuff. He seems to be good at getting in and getting some content, some good angles and some good stuff. Even if I don't always fully agree with anyone's take, I can acknowledge good where it exists on both sides.
Yep.
So this was a guy that actually, this is important. This is from Nick Shirley. I'm pretty sure that. Okay, we saw this guy and how he responds in the evening from the raw footage.
So maybe they went after that guy because of that interview. Because if the interview happened beforehand,
I don't think so. I think that he was just there and he was willing to engage with ideas, and it seemed to be very easy to become a target. Like there were people that came up and like a lot of people can't tell if I'm Middle Eastern or American just based on how I look half the time. Like whenever I walked through, whenever I was ever in that area, like people thought I was like Lebanese or something. So, I'm very good at just kind of blending in. I'm good at being a nobody. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe.
And my beard is a bit more telling, but then again, I do wear this stocking or skull cap on my head all the time, so that can be looked at in many different ways. So, but anywho,
yeah. What I wanted to address here is, I guess, I really want to thank Nick for posting this, and this guy is good at getting questions and engaging with people. Definitely an asset to have at pretty much anything. So yeah, if you don't know who this guy is, definitely deserves it. Nick Shirley.
Or with someone with a country.
I guess my concern is how the young Muslim boys respond in this situation, and some of these you can also see throughout the footage we looked at earlier.
Like Iraq, who would you guys defend? America
Specifically him.
look.
or Iraq? We won't get a war.
Yeah,
That's not
keep going,
permissible
keep
for
going.
us. But at the same time, who would you defend first? We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way. So you wouldn't defend
Watch.
Iraq?
Here is why I say theater. Watch the energy shift.
We won't get a war. That's not permissible for us. But at the same time, who would you defend first? We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way. So you wouldn't.
What amped that up? There was no catalyst for that.
Not directly. Keep going. Keep going.
Defend America. We would not defend America. But you're American. But at the same time, listen. At the same time, America is our country because we were born here. But in our Islamic book, we're not allowed to fight with people that are against our religion. So we just take up the jail time. So you would That's what we do. So you would not defend America. I would go to jail instead of fighting for America. And who would you defend if we were to go to war against a country like Iraq again? America or Iraq? America.
I mean, that's pretty much that guy. Like that guy's seems very grounded and forward. That was the simplest way I can present him as a person, just based on watching him and listening to him throughout the whole thing. And the couple of times I was able to. But
You're talking about the guy on the screen now.
Yeah, him, the one that we covered earlier.
Okay.
This guy also has a conversation that comes up too.
Sorry, talking over each other there. The guy in the blue that we just watched, the fact that he did kind of just amp up the energy. I don't think it was necessarily out of nowhere. He started talking about something he was passionate about. It looked like,
and then so his passion just overcame him like that.
Possibly.
So
I mean, I'm giving guy the benefit of the doubt. So.
The reason is I don't give it the emotional trigger aspect because he was still able to articulate his opinion.
Yeah, but I see what you're trying to say with the anger and everything. But there's a difference between passion and anger. When something you're passionate about is you'll be able to compose yourself very well. At least, I mean, speaking from personal experience, the way I have things. But if you're become angry, then yes, then you begin your emotion circuits override your logic circuits. But passion isn't necessarily the same as, it doesn't have the same consequence.
But the content that you're expressing during that passion indicates your intention.
So we just take up the jail time.
I can agree with that.
That's what we do. So you would not defend America. I would go to jail instead of fighting for America.
But it could be theater. I'm not discrediting that. But, I just definitely say the benefit of the doubt, if there really is a benefit here, to say that he was just very passionate about it. It's something he firmly believes, and so he got animated with it.
Could be. It could be that he saw the opportunity in the camera and he's like, oh, here's my chance to just like go with it, get that message out, say what I want to say. I could maybe see that. I could see that.
So that's kind of how I take that. But
here is Brendan Gutzenschwager. This was right before, remember the first video, the 3 police pulled up and they were in that middle row. This was Jake Lang slapping bacon on the Quran. Actually, I'll just go and play this.
and then he gets
This is
assaulted.
from
Yeah.
B Gone on the Scene. So tries to, okay, that guy. He was in the footage. That guy. Is that assault or battery?
Yes. He put hands on him and force and with the intent to intent to harm versus maybe intent to stop the action. But regardless of not, he put hands on him. That's considered assault. Like if someone were to walk up to you and just put their hand on your chest, that you can be considered assault, especially if there was some kind of exchange between you two.
Yeah, he was clearly visible in some of the clips earlier. I know for a fact that he was. He seemed to be one of the, I guess, kind of the actors on the Muslim side, or pro-Muslim side, just based on where he was and the stuff that he kind of got engaged in. And none of it ever really seemed violent, just based on what I saw, compared to other instances, like the guy in the parking lot saying that he was going to well, he actually says that he wanted to shoot somebody, but we'll cover that too. But I just wanted to...
He takes off
and
running.
then he takes off running. Well, I mean, he's not... Yeah, he stays around, though.
Yeah, he does. Tries to re-engage.
Yeah, but I mean, he was there at the police station, or at the city hall.
So what did the guy that just a few seconds ago that ran through the intersection and took off, the more lanky dude, tall lanky dude, did he pick something up?
It might have been a phone or something.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it looks like a phone.
Okay, so yeah,
it's something he dropped regardless. So yeah.
So this guy, again, shout out to Jake Lang and Nick Shirley. Well, Nick Shirley specifically for getting this. This was the guy that I had the raw footage of after he was getting back in his vehicle before this conversation happened, of the 2 dudes screaming, saying like, hey, he's slapping bacon on. He's the one that pulled up in the parking lot, jumped out of his vehicle, ready to fight. This is his message. He's still probably very highly emotionally charged after what just happened. This was remember the guy earlier saying like, hey, we're on the same side, he's not with us.
Yeah.
God, that's it. Hey, I don't care. To me, I don't care in my life. I don't give a let somebody blast me. I don't give a
Just because of the burning of the Quran, the attempted
I'll
burning.
that motherfucker's life up and his family. That's it. It's on camera. I will that motherfucker's life up. Let him come to me face on face. Face to face, I'll kill him. On my mother's soul. So that's it.
You're killing him.
I'll kill him. Murder. Arrest him.
That's
Do
a
your
threat.
job.
So I think that he spelled it out pretty clear. I also understand that there's been times in my life when I was very angry and upset and didn't know stuff. And maybe said some terrible things like this. I never really meant it, but I also believe that just, the evil of the human heart and, of my own self. Like if I was ever given the power to do something like that, I don't know that I wouldn't. So, I guess this ties to where I don't think this person was fully informed of the situation, even if he saw it. Like this person doesn't come across as a bad person or a malicious person, but he's clearly angry and expressing that he's willing to kill over his ideals.
Nobody didn't necessarily agree 100% with what you said, but I understand the perspective.
Yeah, it's not necessarily coming out exactly right either. I'm just trying to process it.
Yeah, well, the fact that he continue to add more, not credibility isn't the right word. Like saying on my mother's soul, I would, kill the guy or something like that. It's more intense. He's definitely exasperating the situation, exasperating what he's saying. So the problem is that is a threat. However, it could be actually seen as a quote unquote, promise, or, versus a threat, that whole thing, because he's saying as a result of something else, I would do that.
Well, I mean,
Not that I
it's
am going to
masking
do
it.
that.
It's masking it, saying like,
Yeah.
oh well, like if you were toe to toe to me, I would do that, but you won't go first. It's just kind of like we saw in the parking lot from the video,
Yeah.
from the footage earlier. Do something, swing on me, do something. But
It's definitely masking, but I guess I was thinking more of from like the actual law side of it.
okay,
I mean, it's kind of it's a gray area. I mean, I'm not, a lawyer, so I'm not going to sit here and make a claim what is the law and what is not. But I have seen and read multiple situations in the past that they didn't actually, get convicted of a threat because they said that this was going to be in response to, he was giving him a warning that if you did this would be my response. So that
Yeah,
is kind of within that ground that this guy is talking about here. I still take it as a threat because of
with
previous
all the additional
instances, but
factors and even kind of what was going on, and now as of yesterday, Jake was actually attacked, physically attacked.
exactly.
I mean, they're doing a good job making him known. I had no idea who he was until this happened.
Mm.
I mean, that could be a me problem. Oh, he was in right there.
Mm.
So this is along the same stretch. Yeah, this one.
Oh, okay. I think I started this one, but go ahead.
We'll just say that I may or may not have heard this conversation in person.
Why do you hope that? You hope he gets killed because you don't like him? What? That's yeah. You hope he gets killed because you don't like him? Yeah. Is that what Muslims believe?
He's talking about Jake Lang.
Oh well, you're a Muslim, right? And you believe it. Why? Do you think maybe it's a value problem?
I want to break this down.
That. You hope he gets killed because you don't like him? What? That's yeah. You hope he gets killed
He's
because you don't
nervous.
like him? Yeah. Is that what Muslims believe?
He says, "Is that what Muslims believe?" And he says, "Nah." I'm also pretty sure he's one of the people that didn't go and pray in the evening time either.
Oh well, you're a Muslim, right? And you believe it.
Was he still
Why?
there, though?
Do you think maybe it's a value problem? It seems that way. You're not representing your people very well right now. Yeah, so you want him dead because you don't like him. You want him dead because you don't like him. Yeah, right, yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Get away from him. So
it's another clip from Cam on the walk. This is about the 3 mark on the map that I put up earlier. This is before the police station, probably before the Henry Ford Library. I think it's library on Michigan Avenue. But this is, like some of the people that had opinions and stuff. They were the same couple of people that persisted throughout the majority of it. The ones that would, they were the ones in front of the cameras, not the ones with the cameras a lot of times.
Yeah, which kind of does allude to a propagandistic type of stuff being shown.
I mean, I would say I'm maybe a little high, but 70-80% of the people there were only there to get content.
Oh, I believe it, especially with what you were saying and your observations and how you spoke to them. So it does not surprise me. And that guy was probably just there just to agitate and probably for the laughs of it too. I mean, it's a distinct possibility. He's young, and I do know a lot of Gen Z are kind of just more about, how do I phrase this? Like raise a ruckus, for lack of a better way to describe it, off the top of my head right now. So
they're young boys with an aggression outlet.
Yeah, actually.
Men relieve their frustration in two ways. One is fighting, the other is fucking.
Yep.
If you don't have access to either of those, men usually have problems.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too black and white, but yeah, I know.
I'm painting it simple just for a simple understanding. Yeah, you can always tear it apart whenever we get into the specifics. So this is post or towards the end of all of the footage that I have. Whenever the Dearborn City Hall and Mayor were inside, and this was, you should go check out Cam Higby's full video on his thing. He did the entire live stream. That way you guys could go get more firsthand looks of instances that I'm not able to share specifically because I don't want to like overstep, but I feel that there's certain things that I totally have a reason or right to have an opinion on. But I want to go ahead and play this from Freedom News TV. This is Jake Lang talking at the Dearborn City Council.
You outbreed us. You change the laws. You make all of our country look like the places that you fled from. We don't want you here. Respectfully, get the fuck out of my country. I don't want you here. Get out of here.
Trying to silence him, but I mean, that's free speech, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, but that is publicly, that is what, constitutionally protected free speech.
Yes, there are decorum rules, though.
It's either free speech or it's not. Can we start there?
Well, it is free speech to say what you want. It is absolutely correct. However, there is keep in mind, I'm not defending them trying to stop him from speaking. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole, man.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, we're not going to.
In the end, you should be able to say whatever the hell you want to say, especially within a public setting to your to an elected official, not necessarily your. So, I mean, I agree with the fact that there should be, like, he can say whatever the fuck he wants. Besides, we can say whatever the fuck we want.
I say fuck decorum whenever it comes down to actually addressing real stuff. Because, again, decorum is just another excuse, at least what I've seen, for people to just pansy step around stuff, actually having conversations or doing stuff.
Agreed, 100%.
I mean, if we want to bring that back to formality, then we need to get rid of all the drama out of politics. Then I'm fine with decorum.
That's a good point. I was just thinking because I sit on the board in my town, and I mean, I would tell other people on the board to shut up and let him talk if someone came in and started cussing or whatever else. But it goes between, how do I say this? So there's free speech and then there's incitement. And depending on how it is said and the manner which it's said and who it is directed towards, it could be considered incitement. So that's kind of the perspective I was just trying to give there. Like I said, I agree with what he can say whatever the hell he wants, but other people may take his actions or take his demeanor as a threat, and it could, like you said, be considered incitement. So
yeah, but that's also going to be the exact thing they use to be convenient for their argument too. But I mean, based on what he's saying, I don't get that vibe. I mean, compared to the last two videos that we watched of them saying, "Yeah, I would totally kill them." Not really comparable.
Yeah. I agreed. I was just trying to give the perspective.
That's fine. No, I mean, you're good. You're good to add that too. Yeah, you're good.
And the people, the veterans, the World War II veterans.
Did they cut his mic?
Blood has soaked for our constitutional republic are taking a look around Europe. They're taking a look around America, and they're saying, what the hell did we fight for? We have been taken over without a single shot fired. You guys are outbreeding insidious parasites on the American way of life. You will never look like us. You will never eat like us. You won't build buildings like us. You are nothing. You can build nothing. Just like President Trump's great American friends have said, you guys are not us, and get the fuck out. America first. America only. God bless America. Jesus.
So, I guess let's go ahead and just take full force, like the messaging that he's putting out on some level. Given his brashness and stance, seems to be very in line with what he's presented consistently from what I saw. But this is also, I think, going to become kind of the mantra of the Groypers. And it's going to be a naturally occurring thing.
Well, the Nick Fuentes is very, I mean, the political, quote unquote, political clout that he has with the young generation is growing exponentially. Like, I have never seen so much support begin to grow out of someone who is as extreme in his beliefs as him.
Well, I mean, is he extreme or is he just steadfast in the things that he's chosen to support? Because we literally have people that have said, like, if you just come to the table, I'd kill you. So
that was kind of a point I was eventually going to get to.
Oh, okay.
The thing about it is that everything that Nick says, from a very objective, point of view, is honestly reasonable. The words he chooses may kind of make it sound more extreme than it really is, but that appeals to the audience at which he has cultivated. So the fact that he's, wants America first, no more funding for Israel, no more funding for foreign countries in general, bring all the troops home, stuff like that, it sounds extreme from various perspectives because of where you would sit in the Overton window at the time. Of course, the Overton window is basically expanded to the point to cover a significant majority of the political spectrum now. So that kind of framing using an Overton window I think is basically going out the window, no pun intended, right now. So he's considered extreme because of the perspective of the people who were talking about him. So yes, he is. He could be considered fairly far right because it's a very conservative stance to, be very homogenous within your culture and not, allow outside people to come into your culture because of kind of the situations happening in Dearborn, where they will begin to disrupt, they will begin to change things because they refuse to become part of the greater American culture. And they are trying to instill, their beliefs into everything that goes on. I mean, but to the point of someone who would be more on the left, we have a freedom of religion. They have the right to come in and try to influence people in such a way to spread their religion. It's the same way the great Christianity does. So I have to give them that credit. But
well, the problem is the problem is the judicial system.
Elaborate.
You can't operate from the Muslim perspective on Christian values, which is why they want to implement Sharia law, because that matches their religion. So that's where I guess the country needs to decide, like, is the country really Judeo-Christian or Christian or what? Because if not, then I think that just in good faith, you could make the argument that, well, over a long enough period of time, the Constitution allows for natural changes to occur to it. It's allowed to be amended on some level. We have bills of rights and stuff like that, or Bill of Rights and other amendments. So
yeah, you kind of shift the perspective from what I was talking about. Yeah, you're not wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I was just talking specifically about the ability for someone to come in and practice their religion. However, you are correct that Sharia law is a major part of, Muslims, Islamic faith. So there is that discrepancy. There is that extreme dichotomy between the two different types of judicial systems. So it becomes a point where we have we have to decide where, how do I say this? The limitation. So, yes, you can practice your Muslim faith, but you have the limitation of not being able to force your specific views onto others. And that is what is happening right now inside of Dearborn, is that there are people of Muslim faith who are trying to force their religion, force their beliefs, force their judicial system onto Christians and and supersede the American system.
And the
That's
yeah.
the problem. That's the crux of the problem.
The open
Is
support of
because,
it is the crux of the problem.
yes,
So it's
pretty
fine.
much.
It's fine if what you just described exists. It's a problem whenever it's a collective effort to protect and defend that, because then you're then operating as a different entity. You're not operating on the same values. Therefore, how could you be operating as an American city?
Correct. It is they're operating outside the framework of the Constitution, which in itself is, depending on your perspective, could be treasonous if you're an American citizen. So, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole, and how that's done civilian versus military wise. I don't want to dive down into that, but
Mm-hmm.
it does create this problem where something has to be done. And if Christians continue to do what they have always done, and not always done, but say in recent history, and try to turn the other cheek, you're going to get overrun. So, and Dearborn is kind of a beginning example. I'm not going to say it is an example, but beginning to become an example of what happens when you allow people who have a dramatically different perspective on the way law should be enforced to grow into power. They begin to push out and begin to shift the laws to favor them. And I guess that can be said with any culture.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could do that in a
So,
small town with people that are hyper conservative.
correct. I mean, that's a great example. So it becomes to a point where people are going to have to make a choice to either roll over and allow this to happen, or do what they need to do. I'm not saying be violent. Let's make that very clear. Go in and vote for the appropriate people. The problem is they are outnumbered now. So
I think a majority of people don't
it's,
actually vote, though.
yeah, but
Especially in this area, the majority of people in this area are going to be Democrats. This area is not going to change, which is why it's like I don't understand the motivation or reasoning for people to go do this in Dearborn, unless it's just to kind of, again, maybe generate the conversations or posture.
That's exactly one. You're exactly right. Probably both. Generate the conversations and posture. That's it. So, I mean, the way I see it personally is you get what you vote for.
I mean, if you've
And
been,
if you don't vote,
see, this is why it's complicated, because I know people in the area that are Muslims, and they are very good people. They have great families. There are even Middle Eastern people that have converted to Christianity. So, like, it's so hard to say that this is a full representation, but it appears to definitely have roots just because of the public face of the mayor being as openly
I see
open
what you're
with his
saying.
feelings. But anyways,
And beliefs.
yeah.
But
I want to. So go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, God damn it, I'm trying to think. I forgot what I was going to say now. Even if that, like everything you described for the area, which I absolutely take your word for.
You're back from your mic.
Sorry, yeah, I should turn to the side. I agree to everything you just said, because you know people in the area. The problem is that even if people don't vote, that is still a vote.
Mm-hmm.
And because one thing that a lot of people don't realize, like Christians, white people, just the general, population of this country, the people who follow Islam are very, very well coordinated. They talk within the mosque. People from one mosque will go to another mosque, and they will coordinate and do everything that they need to do in order to coordinate everything to go vote. They basically mandate people inside their mosque to go vote. And once you have enough people doing that, you're going to supersede all the people who don't vote.
Sounds like a community.
Exactly.
It sounds like the one thing that the American culture is lost because it used to be based in church. Church used to be the foundation of community, and there is no community. And guess what? My name is community.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we could, oh God, I could go down a diatribe on,
I don't want to go that.
result.
Yeah, I don't want to go after that side. I want to pull it back to the city hall real quick, just so we can finish up with Cam. This was Cam, the journalist who got pepper sprayed, who we played a couple of videos, and I pointed out a couple of times. But this is what he had to say, and this kind of goes back to, I think he references the police, he references the stuff getting stolen.
I'm not a protester. This is my badge. Okay. Today on the streets of Dearborn, I was pepper sprayed, maced by protesters because I asked them simply why they were harassing and touching another individual who had stated repeatedly that he was only on their side of the street to talk to them and have a dialogue. My phone was smashed. You can see the broken camera right there. They stole $50 out of my pocket, and they stole my microphone receiver. I went and I told one of your officers, badge number 3668, that this had happened. He told me there was nothing that could be done about it unless I went to the station. I told him, I can't go to the station. I'm working. I'm doing my job. He said, I'm working too. I said, yeah, and your job is to protect me and all of the people that are out here today. Okay? So we said that I could go into the station later. I told him, you're never going to catch the guy if I go into the station later. He's going to leave. He's dressed head to toe in black bloc. I filmed the whole thing, but he had a mask on his face. You'll never, ever get an opportunity to arrest that person ever again if you don't go and get him right now. He said, sir, I can't leave my post. 5 minutes later, I caught him in the parking lot on a personal phone call. Okay? Repeatedly today, I watched people that are in this room get attacked by other people that are in this room. I watched your officers not respond to those attacks repeatedly. Then I saw somebody who was in this group, which again, I'm a journalist. I'm just documenting what's going on, and I'm here to tell you what's going on. I saw somebody in this group get arrested. I asked the officers, habeas corpus, please articulate probable cause for arresting this person. They refused to. I asked name and badge number. They refused to give me their name and badge number as a member of the press with my badge clearly displayed. They would not tell me why they were arresting this person. They just did it. Okay? Yesterday, I was exploring Dearborn. I came here just to document this from Seattle as a journalist. Okay? I was exploring Dearborn. I walked up and down Michigan Avenue. There wasn't very many people out. Then we wanted to hear the call to prayer that we've heard so much about. So we went to a mosque. And at that mosque, I was followed by a drone. If I moved forward, the drone moved forward. If I went backwards, the drone went backwards. I went to a gas station, and that drone waited outside of the gas station, just above the door, for me to leave so it could begin following me again. I was followed by vehicles, and I was followed by individuals on foot. There was a lot of talk in here today about sexism. So I'd like to quote the Prophet Muhammad. Okay? One of my favorite quotes from the Prophet Muhammad. A woman's testimony is worth half that of a man's due to the deficiency of her mind. God created two sexes, one superior and one inferior. That's why your women wear hijabs, because they're inferior to men. That's why in most Muslim countries they can't leave their homes without permission of a male guardian.
Doesn't seem to be inaccurate based on what I've heard of the actual teachings or of that religion.
That matches what I know or what I have heard.
But the only thing that I wanted to critique on was whenever he's like, I'm here to record it and I'm here to tell you what happened. I guess that he's right, especially in the context. And I definitely understand why he would feel this way. So I think that he's justified in his stance, but how to say it? I'm glad that he was there to get some of the stuff that he did. And I think that he's someone that's worth following. At least based on everything that I've seen. So him and Nick Shirley, I just want to give credit to, but were there real circumstances, real things that happened? Yes. But again, over the course of 3 hours, there was maybe just a handful. in
Not have gotten blown up.
varying in
Yeah.
degrees. Some have gotten blown up and hyped up, but as we saw people sharing their coherent minds saying that they're okay with violence, they're okay with killing people, given the right conditions.
Yep.
So again, it's not a two-sided thing. There was at least 5 different groups. And the 4 primaries were the left and like the pro-Muslim, anti-Muslim, and then you had agitators on both sides. So I'm counting all of those agitators as separate groups. So there's 4, and then 5th are all the people that just kind of got pulled into it or got called into it or just joined without being really informed of what it is. Just kind of like the innocent bystanders, the people that were there for, oh, this is exciting, I can get some stuff. There's people outside with a sign, oh, this person's doing something stupid, I'm going to go get this video. People will want to see it online. But I think that if you took away like we'll just say maybe 70% of people there only for entertainment purposes, you could actually find the real questions, and maybe that's what events like this are for. I don't know. I'm not familiar with a lot of events like this, but I could see the argument being made. You know, you go, you do something offensive, it gets, attention, even if it's negative attention, but then it allows a conversation to happen. Dearborn, I think that it's time that we have these conversations, but I guess how this develops will actually probably be an indicator of how the country moves too, in a large way. But the Muslim faith presented and the way that it's usually sold, even completely honestly, they have a community, they generally have family, and they have support, and they're willing to fight over stuff. That's something that you don't really have. Fight for. But
you said fight over, so I was making sure.
Well, fight over, fight for. I mean, for them, it'd be fighting over the city, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see that perspective. Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm going to be following it pretty closely, just in general, because of I am a little. I don't want to say worried, because I'm not really worried about it. There's definitely a couple of, I guess, timelines in my head, for lack of a better description, right now, of some things not going too well. But it's one of those things where they are telling everyone exactly what their goals are, and you saw today and you saw personally, and it's not necessarily experienced but observed, some of the examples of what they are willing to do. So this is however, I will say, in the grand scheme, it was very benign compared to what it could have been.
Yep.
What could happen, of course.
Yep.
But it is still a step in that direction.
It's a seed.
And
it's a seed. If it grows the wrong way, it could grow very, very, very violently.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a seed for both sides. So both sides can become more galvanized as time goes on in their beliefs and in their willingness to act in whatever manner they deem necessary. The question is which side's going to grow faster and which side's going to become galvanized faster. And that's not something I can even begin to predict right now, because even though they are the majority in Dearborn, people of Islam, they are an extreme minority inside the United States right now. However, in 10 years, that's going to change. To what extent, I don't know. So it's going to get to a point of, it's basically a race between those who are for what's going on in Dearborn versus those who are against it, and how they want to, like you said, approach this and how going forward. And
I think the majority of people in the area would still be for it, just because of the people that are in the area. Even good friends that I have in the area, like we definitely
are for the Islamification, to make sure I'm understanding.
Well, they're not for the Islamification, but they're for all the benefits that come along with it at the moment.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's a perspective that I haven't really put a whole lot of credence into yet, primarily because, the American culture, like you said earlier, is not so much about community like it used to be. It's actually one of the reasons why I moved to a smaller community, because it's more likely to have a community, and there actually is a pretty good community here.
Good.
So that's an interesting perspective to think about. I don't foresee a lot of Muslim or Islamic people of faith going to smaller, like country towns, trying to take them over. It's only those of an approximate size or larger. Whatever that approximate size is, I don't know. I have to do some research on that and see where where they are going and where they are expanding, because I think there is a thinking on a more sociological framework here, that once a city or a group or an organization gets above a certain size, the community actually begins to break down and fracture into smaller communities.
Yeah, communism works up
And
to a certain number.
correct. Yeah, essentially. But once you exceed that specific number for, I guess the American homogenous culture, and it begins to fracture, that is where they're going in and filling in those cracks and slowly expanding and pushing them out, because there are those cracks, metaphorically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be kind of what their whole doctrine is. So, but it could be, at least for the near term, next few years, we're not likely going to see a whole lot of people who follow the Islamic faith going to these smaller towns and trying to take them over. It's always going to be these moderate, like small to moderate size, like actual cities, like Dearborn.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a train of thought that I went down. That's kind of making me reassess how reassess the reasoning of why they're doing what they're doing, more than anything else. Anyways, sorry, kind of small diatribe there.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that'll build into a larger topic, anyways. As far as this topic goes, I want to go ahead and say, if there's anybody in chat that has a message, go ahead and type it now. I will respond, and this is just based on the raw footage that I had. If you're here and you have any questions, go ahead and type it out now. If not, I'll give Brewer a chance to go ahead and just kind of give his piece, and then I'll wrap it up. So I'll just give like 30 seconds. We'll just start with, I guess, Brewer. What's your takeaway from all of this while we wait, if anybody wants to send anything in?
It more than anything else, I guess I want to not necessarily highlight, the Islam thing, but more of everything that we see online is definitely being sensationalized. The fact that you could probably go around to a significant majority of the cities in this country, regardless of size, and kind of ask them, what's their biggest problem. It's not going to be anything you see like it's here or online. There's going to be people who are just so focused on themselves and their family that they don't really, and maybe their local community as well, that they don't really even consider what's going on out there because it's too far away. And the fact that you're seeing all of this type of focus on very specific cities, very specific areas of the country, and very specific communities, it kind of creates this likely a false sense of issues that are actually occurring. And I mean, this could be, branched out into multiple different areas. So I think this whole experience, especially since you went out there and from your perspective of how you saw how everyone was acting and how they conducted themselves, that there were still still a minority of the people there were acting the fool and trying to cause problems, but most people were there and being, from what I can tell, at least fairly cordial and willing to express themselves, but not outright, declaring violence or being violent. There were some, but a majority of them were out there to basically to make their voice be heard in whatever form you want to think that is. So in the end, it's just definitely need to take a step back and understand that everything we're seeing is probably sensationalized. That's my main takeaway from all this.
Well, it's always good. I think that this is a good example, just because, I mean, that's a real example for me now of like, I could see sensationalized portions of it, but I can also see the real sides of it too. So very good experience overall, I think. If I ever get equipment or opportunity to go to some other ones, maybe I would. Let's see, what was I thinking? Any person that I was on camera in any of the raw footage that I had, or I mentioned directly, you're more than welcome to come join the podcast and have a conversation, even if we disagree. I think it's important to talk about things before they get violent, even though I think that everyone kind of understands that, at some point words are not enough. But I'd like to at least present that opportunity. So whether it's Cam or whether it's Nick Sorter or whether it's any of the individuals, totally open. I want to have the conversations and understand. That's the only thing I'm after. I'm not in this for money. I mean, I'd like money, but I'm not in it for money. I'd like women too, but I'm not in it for the women. They're not here either. I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's good people on both sides, and it's very easy to let social media and what the narrative is on X. It doesn't always mirror reality. Once you start including, real people, the people that aren't aware, the people that don't have the full story, understanding that one, this episode could blow up and we could just have millions of followers next week because it's just so groundbreaking. But if that ever happens, nothing's going to change. My only intention is just to see what's honest.
Yeah, that's why I'm here with you.
I don't want to have to fight. I don't like to fight.
I don't either. As much as I sometimes rhetoric I may spew may insinuate I don't want to fight either. I'm prepared to defend myself, but I would much rather just be left alone and to pursue my own goals.
The irony of that statement. All right. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Bird, do you have any last thought?
No, I'm good. Good
right.
show. Good job. And thanks again for doing what you did and taking the time to go out and do that, man.
Hey, thanks for doing this with me. Thank you for everybody in the audience. If you guys watch this after, I'm actually probably going to just try to go ahead and promote this one on my X or whatever, just to see if we can get some more people looking at it. I feel like this is worth it. But if you guys see this, please be sure to leave a like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and or Rumble. Rumble seems to be picking up more traction as far as just more views. YouTube, I'm pretty sure, has shadow banned us at this point because of the stuff that we talk about. But
very likely, yeah.
But anyways, love you guys. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.